Alright guys, how's it going? Lazy Beast here on the Affliction Warlock, playing around with some builds, and we have found a juicy little tasty morsel, which is this Affliction single target Deathbolt Haunt build. So we're just going to go through what that is made up of. So we've got Deathbolt, bam, it's going to be a big hitter. You're going to want to make sure all your dots are up and your cooldowns are popped before you press the button on this to get the most out of it. We've gone for Writhing Agony. I was thinking Absolute Corruption, that's more for AoE. Siphon Life would be decent with Deathbolt because it increases with the amount of dots that you've got out. But we've gone for Writhing Agony because obviously if it's going to go up to 15 stacks and that's more damage. So either of these would be good, but I just feel for this build we'd just go for Writhing Agony. I think that would slightly have the edge. Mobility and defensive, just go for Burning Rush. If you want more defensive, Dark Pact or Demon Skin. Gone for Valtate on this because you have to pick one of these AoE options, and I feel this would be probably the best for single target because it still does a decent amount of damage just single target, and if you've got any adds then of course it's going to benefit you there, as would these two, but probably that one more. We've gone for this CC tier, Dark Fury doesn't really matter. Then we've gone Haunt because that is going to give you a 10% damage boost for 15 seconds. Pardon me. So this, you might want something different on this, maybe something like either Shadowy Embrace or Grimoire of Sacrifice. I've not obviously tested these on single target bosses, but just for the pure burst, this is probably going to be really good in PvP as well. But we're going to go for this because of the 10% damage increase, and so that's obviously going to increase the damage of your big juicy Deathbolt. And then we're going for Dark Soul Misery because it's kind of the cooldown orientated spec. These two are quite short, obviously 30 seconds and 15 seconds, so you're going to be using these quite often. But when you really want to do some big heavy damage, like the start of the fight and things like that, you can pop this and just increase everything. Obviously your haste, when all your cooldowns are popped, you're going to just be doing more and more damage in them periods. Creeping Death will be decent, but with things like doing the damage faster for Corruption, for example, it's going to have, by the time you've got this off, there's going to be less of a duration, so obviously this is going to do less damage, which you don't want. And then Soul Conduit, passive option, but let's go for the cooldowns. So I'll just show you how this works. So what you want to do is obviously get your dots on. I've just got me in party. I would usually use a felhunter, but it doesn't really matter. The pets do the same amount of damage basically anyway. So yeah, so you want to get your dots up. So you're going to want to be, for maximum burst, you're going to want to be at 5 soul shards because you're going to want to get 5 unstable afflictions off in a row, cooldowns, bam bam, and then Deathbolt. So the way this kind of works is make sure you're at 5 cooldowns. Obviously if you need to do the damage there and then you only have 3 or 4, then do it anyway, because obviously if you're pushing a boss fight then that matters. So yep, dots on, make sure they're at full duration, and then you want to go in with Dark Soul Misery first. Obviously I'll just talk you through it and then I'll do it because it's quite quick. Dark Soul Misery first, and then to get your haste going, get your UAs off really quick, and then you want to cast your Observer as soon as you've finished all your UAs, and into Haunt, into Deathbolt, and then your Deathbolt's going to get all the benefit from everything else that's going on. So yeah, so full duration on dots, Dark Soul Misery, UAs 1, 2, 3, 4, Observer, Haunt, Deathbolt, bam. Love the juicy deeps, and obviously just make the most of your Observer being up. Get your, obviously your Dark Soul Misery, just go nuts, go ham. This is absolute shit ton of damage, all in one, and that is pretty much the best case scenario with the burst for the Affliction lock. Obviously do some testing, try other things yourself, but for me that's what I've found as the most on-demand deeps. Obviously the only real requirement to get that started, I'm just going over here to end combat so we can look at the little log. The only real requirement is obviously that you have 5 soul shards to get 5 UAs off in a row. You could even probably push this to get, if you get some shards generated from your agony while you're spamming your UAs, you could maybe get 6 off, because obviously the good thing with your Dark Glare is it increases the duration of your dots as soon as you cast it. So obviously if you're just clutching and getting one in by a fraction of a second, as long as you cast your Dark Glare as soon as you stop doing your UA spam, then it's going to increase the duration of that and your Corruption and your Agony. Then obviously you're going to Haunt straight after that, because it's going to give yourself a 10% damage boost to this, and because it's only 1.5 second cast almost, these are only going to have ticked down by 1.5 seconds, so you're not going to lose hardly any damage on Deathbolt. Alternatively, if you didn't take Haunt, you could just Agony, Corruption, and then Dark Soul Misery, UA spam, Observer, straight into Deathbolt. Because then you've got absolute maximum duration on everything. So let's just have a little look what the Deathbolt did there. It doesn't do obviously most of your damage, but one hit for 23k is pretty damn good, and obviously that one crit, so double damage. But yeah, it's very good, very nice. And yeah, that's how basically how the burst window works for the Affliction Lock. Now really, just in general speaking about Affliction Lock, I wasn't that much of a fan really with the changes, but this is how it shows with the main. If you're gonna main something, you really have to get stuck in there and play it and figure out all the little tricks you can do with it and how it actually plays properly before you can cast judgment on it. So definitely, if you're thinking about Affliction Warlock and you're thinking, oh, I'm not really sure about the changes, you know, I really liked it in Legion. It is quite different in Battle For Azeroth, but it's very, very good. It's very nice. There's some, obviously, AoE decent builds within this talent setup as well that you can do. I'll probably do another little video on them. But yeah, just give it a go, give it a try. That burst window is pretty damn fun, and compared to a lot of the other classes as well, you know, it's quite unique, and it feels really nice to play as. So yeah, there we go. Burst for Affliction Warlock single target. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Give the build a try yourself and let me know what you think. If you've got any other ideas, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Lazy Beast, and I'll catch you next time.